Hey, what's up? Oh, we're back at it. It's kind of the ultimate check-in phrase, right? Like you're basically asking someone to open the window and let you in on what's actually going on in their head. The thing is, I'm with you. When someone drops that on you, they're basically saying, I can tell something is off. It's less about the facts of the situation and more about the vibe. You're noticing a shift in their energy. Maybe they're quieter than usual or just looking a bit stressed, and you're giving them a permission slip to stop pretending everything is fine. It's a heavy lift. Not at all. Exactly. Most of the time, it's the mental or emotional stuff that's actually driving the question. You could be perfectly healthy, but if you're staring into space with a frown, someone's going to ask, what's the matter? It's more about the internal weather than any physical issue. Let me look into that. It's funny how we use it now, but the origin is probably way less about feelings and more about actual substance. It actually comes from the Latin word materia, which basically meant wood or the physical stuff things are made of. So it's like we went from talking about raw materials to talking about the substance of a problem. Kind of a wild shift, right? Right? It's like the language evolved to be more human. We stopped worrying about the stuff and started worrying about the person. Makes you wonder what other everyday phrases we've completely flipped the meaning of over time. I think it's because it's the perfect middle ground. It's not as intense as asking what's wrong or why are you crying, but it's more direct than just saying you okay. It gives the other person the choice to keep it surface level or actually dive into the deep end. Spot on. It's like a social probe. You're testing the waters to see if they're actually ready to talk without forcing them into a corner. Do you think it's I think it can, but it really depends on the delivery. So, if it's asked with genuine warmth, um, it can make someone feel seen and less alone. Uh, but if it's asked 100 times or with an annoying tone, it can actually make the person shut down. It's all about whether the person feels like you're actually listening, or just checking a box. It's a total mixed bag. Depending on who's asking and how they're feeling, it could go a few different ways. For some, it's a massive relief, like they've been holding their breath and finally have a reason to let it out. For others, it might feel intrusive, like someone just spotted a crack in their armor and they're not ready to let anyone see it. I bet there's a whole different reaction if it's a best friend versus a random coworker, right? Totally. It's kind of like a key that unlocks a whole different level of interaction. One minute you're talking about the weather, and the next you're actually getting into the real stuff. Do you think most people are actually honest when they answer it, or do they just stick to the classic, I'm fine? for sure. I think it usually comes down to trust. If they feel safe, they'll give you the real story. But the "I'm fine" reflex is a powerful thing. It's like a default setting to avoid making a scene, and I wonder if the phrase itself is almost too common now to the point where some people just tune it out. It's kinda like how Oh, exactly. Oh, for sure. It can play out totally different depending on where you are. Like in a crisis, it's an urgent check-in to see if someone's hurt, but in a relationship, it can be a subtle way of saying, I can tell you're annoyed with me. Just tell me why. It's almost like a Swiss Army knife of a question. I've heard it can even be used sarcastically when someone's overreacting to something small. Like, does that happen often in your experience? It probably just grew naturally because it's so useful. It's one of those phrases that fills a gap in our communication. We needed a way to address the elephant in the room without being too aggressive. Over centuries, it just became the standard way to bridge the gap between noticing someone is off and actually talking about it. Exactly. It's the same tool, just a different job depending on the room you're in. It's kind of wild how a few words can shift from being deeply supportive to a bit tense just because of who's standing there. It's definitely shifted things. We've traded a lot of the subtle stuff like seeing someone's face or hearing their voice crack for a text or an emoji. Now, "Are you okay?" over a message can feel like a huge gesture because it's intentional, but it can also feel a bit detached since you're not actually there with them. I wonder if we've lost some of that raw, immediate connection, or if the screen just makes it easier for some people to be honest. I feel like for some, the screen is a shield. It's way less intimidating to type out a secret than it is to say it while someone is staring right at you. But then you miss the hug or the pat on the back that actually makes the words work. Do you think we're getting better at expressing ourselves or just more efficient at it? I think you're right. It feels like there's more of a push now to actually talk about the mental side of things, not just brush it off. People are more open to the what is the matter conversations than they used to be. 100%. At the end of the day, those basics don't change. Whether it's a Latin root from the 15th century or a text message, we're all just looking for a way to feel heard. It's a pretty cool way to wrap up the thought, don't you think? Glad we're on the same page. It's been I think the big takeaway is that smallest things can be the most powerful. It's a reminder that paying attention to the people around you, actually noticing when someone's vibe is off, is a huge act of kindness. It basically tells them, I see you and you matter. That kind of attention is usually what people are actually craving when they're struggling. It's kind You've got something on your mind. What are you thinking? Right? It's like a tiny package with a ton of weight inside. Just goes to show that you don't need a whole speech to make someone feel seen. You just need the right few words. It's a pretty deep dive for a simple question, but that's you want to add something to the mix? Haha, you just caught me in a loop. I'm listening. That's a fair question. I think there are definitely times when it can backfire. Like if someone is clearly in the middle of a meltdown or just needs a second to breathe, jumping in with what's the matter can feel like more pressure instead of a helping hand. Sometimes the best way to show you care is just to be there in silence until they're ready to talk. It's a bit of a balance. Exactly. It's a great way to put it. We we basically took a simple question and turned it into a full-on study of how we connect as humans. Um, Pretty cool session today. Anytime. I really enjoyed it. You always find a way to make the everyday stuff feel interesting. That's a perfect note to end on. It really wraps everything up with a bit of a heart. I'm out, but I'll be here whenever you're ready for the next deep dive.